Yo, 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 yo. We back, we back, we back. That like button. Hit the like button, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you new. Why nigga gonna go live today, y'all? I ain't gonna lie. I was sitting back debating like, man, I ain't feel like going live. But I had to. You know what I mean? I had no choice, man. And a day without me on the internet just don't seem right. You know what I mean? A day with me off the internet don't seem right, yo. It's just seem like it's a dry day. You know what I mean? At the internet be dry if I ain't on here, man. Causing some type of ruckus. So the Gotham City Guard dude still ducking me. He don't even reply no more. He must have talked to Hassan Campbell. Hassan Campbell probably said, "No, you leave. You stay the fuck away from yo, man." But appreciate everybody that tapped in. Yo, y'all gotta hear this story. Yeah. Yeah, I swear, some of these rap dudes is crazy. We gotta talk about Jesse Jackson. We gotta talk about the latest Epstein files getting released. 2800, what it do? But before we get into all that, I wanna Dwight Howard, man. What the fuck going on with Dwight Howard, man? That nigga out here fucking with the girl. They got a girl habit off this bitch. God damn, Dwight. What's up, Major baby? My man Dwight Howard went out the deep end. He found with Lamar Odom. he found with Lamar Odom footsteps. Straight up. So we gotta talk about that. We gotta talk about Jesse Jackson Fernal because the Democrats they just can't help themselves, man. Yeah, they cannot help themselves. And Epstein. Gotta talk about Epstein. I'm starting to think Epstein ain't dead, man. I ain't gonna lie. At first I was thinking he was. No, first I was thinking he wasn't. Then I was thinking he was. Now I'm leaning back toward, man, I don't know if that man dead or not, man. Straight up, yo. I don't know. I don't know. So they got a situation where a security guard, I think it was like 3 weeks before his death, was making some wild transactions. I don't give a fuck what I've been hard to sell 2 years ago, bitch. 2 years. If me and you was alive 200 years ago, I slapped the shit out you then, and I slapped the shit out you now, Brandon. 7234. Fuck you like that. That's one thing that wouldn't have changed in 200 years. I'd have slapped you back then, and I'd slap you now, man. But before we get to any of that, I got the trip off Rilo. Y'all know I be giving Rilo the blues online, yo, because Rilo's a fucking character. Yo, y'all gotta listen to this story he tells, man. Yo, what the fuck be wrong with these rap? Yo, this story is crazy. So he's telling the story about him coming up, and he supposed to shot somebody at 14. Yo, like, you gotta hear this, yo. Yo, these guys, I can't even get the words out. But listen to him, man.
I had lost trial. I had shot 4 people in the bluff. I shot Greg.
What the fuck? Hold up, yo. I said, yo, what's wrong with these guys, man? It said I lost trial. I shot 4 people in the bluff. I shot Greg. It just threw Greg under the bus. Who the fuck is Greg? You might as well told us his last name too. Rilo. Was it Greg Rodriguez? Gregory Smith? Like, it's a lot of Gregs running around, man. Be more specific about this Greg that you shot. But it gets worse though, y'all. Y'all gotta check him out.
I shot. And 3 more people that did come to court on me, but I say Greg's name because he came and testified and all that old shit. So I always say his name. How old was you? I was 14. I want to say I was 14 years old. How did you feel? Like, I mean, did you really understand like the criminal system,
Listen
like
to him, y'all.
at that time, or that was just something like, all right,
I'm just walking in here and I don't know what's going
I
on.
got an uncle by the name of Ironhead, and he was a fierce gangster back in the day. I just got him out for another 3 murders. He just
Hey, what the fuck you wrong with this? Hey, he said, yo, saying, man, he was a fierce gangster back in there. I just got him out, for another 3 murders. Like, right, okay. Yo, these rappers gotta stop, yo. Yo, I think we might need to put a pause on hip hop. This for a year. Yeah, we gotta put a pause on hip hop for a year, man, to try to get this shit back right. Because I don't know what's going on in society right now, man. Yo, I gotta run it back again, yo. Hold up. Hold up. Let me go
came
back.
home probably like
Let me go back. Hey, yo, this guy is crazy, yo. He wonder why he is never gonna get off my hit list doing this. I'm sorry, Rallo. You're never gonna get off the list
I
doing
had
shit like this.
I had lost trial. I had shot 4 people in the bluff. I shot Greg. I shot and 3 more people that did come to court on me, but I say Greg's name because he came and testified and all that old shit. So I always say his name.
How old was you?
I was 14. I want to say I was 14 years old.
How did you feel like? I mean, did you really understand like the criminal system like at that time, or that was just something like, all right, I'm just walking in here and I don't know what's going
I
on.
got an uncle by the name of Ironhead, and he was a fierce gangster back in the day. I just got him out for another 3 murders. He just came home probably like I want to say I picked him up like 2 weeks ago,
I hate fucking
and
ready to go back.
he always been one of them niggas that nobody played with, and that's the only thing that was going through my head. Like I was cool with going to jail because I thought I ain't know about when you go to jail you be separated and juvenile be.
Yo, 2800, yo, this guy is crazy, yo. See, yo, yo, look, I couldn't have done this interview with a straight face. I'm sorry, yo. I'd have walked up, I'd have got up laughing. He'd be like, yo, what the fuck you doing? I'd be like, yo, stop, yo, stop that shit, yo. Like, yo, we ain't gotta do all that. Rollo, we believe you, yo. You feel me? Yo, you do not got to prove yourself, yo. We believe you, right? Yeah, whatever you did in the past, it's the past now. Let's focus on the present. In the present, what you did was disgraceful. You feel me? Like, yo, we don't care about Ironhead, man. Sweet the Ironhead, man. It's like he's fucking one hell of a guy. But to sit back and talk about, I shot 4 people when I was 14. Only one came to court. Greg. I'm always say Greg name. I think has he ever told this story before?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just knew like shit. I'm finna shoot all these niggas. I'm finna kill. My intention was to kill them.
Damn.
I had intention on killing them.
Yeah.
And I
Hey, y'all seen this shit earlier. I was like, yo, wow. I think I watched it like 3 times. Like he just he just getting worse and worse and worse. First he shot him. He tried to kill him too. Don't forget that was his intentions. He wanted to kill something at 14 years old because of Ironhead. Yeah, man, Ironhead was a fierce, ferocious gangster. Yeah, man, all he did was kill. He gonna kill
wanted to
somebody
go
else.
do with my
Watch.
uncle. What happened was I did my normal little routine. I always sold my little dope at 444 Sunset, but I was trying to transition it to selling perk and start selling crack. So when I got up there, the nigga started talking like, nigga, we'll take your bomb, nigga, we'll take your weed, nigga, we'll take all your shit, nigga, you ain't coming on our block. These niggas didn't even give me time to explain myself. Like, I really honestly was just waiting. I wasn't
I'm Ironhead nephew. That's what you gonna say. Yo, I'm Ironhead nephew, y'all. Leave me alone. that's what he meant by he was gonna tell everybody because niggas ain't play with Ironhead. If niggas would have known he was Ironhead nephew at this time, man, none of that shit would even have happened, man.
posted on their block to take
They
none of their
probably gave him
customers.
their
Got
pack.
the final one on 'em. I got the best of them because I had been in and out of juvenile at that time, so I kind of knew how to fight a little bit. I whooped his ass, and his friend didn't like it. He jumped in it,
Listen,
and all
they
these niggas was like 26 and 20 something. I ain't never.
get the fuck out. Hey, y'all believe this? I don't believe this story. Yo, can somebody from Atlanta vouch? So at 14 years old, he was beating up niggas 26, 27. You know what I mean? Beat him up, shot 4. Rallo was ruthless out the porch early, man.
number 14 at this time. These niggas down there in their 30s. So they around and let me walk away. I don't know what made them let. They supposed to go and kill me right then. But I went down there. I got my gun and I came back. Nobody was right there.
So what you do next,
I
y'all?
seen him. I turned on English. I seen Greg ass in them woods up there. He had like a J in front of him. J is like a crackhead.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, "What you gonna do?" I said, "I'm finna shoot him, man. I shot him. I shot the J first. Bah! After I shot the J, he tried to run.
Yeah, this
I
is
don't,
crazy.
I ain't never been good at sports. A lot of that
Hey,
shit.
Hotmo, are you familiar with this these series of events? I gotta play it back for Hotmo. Hotmo from Atlanta, man. Hey, Hotmo, do you know anything about this? We gotta run it back one more time, then we go get to everything else.
I had lost trial. I had shot 4 people in the bluff. I shot Greg. I shot and 3 more people
Did he
that
shoot
didn't
Greg?
come to
Is the
court on me.
question.
But I say Greg's name because he came in and testified and all that old shit. So I always say his name.
How old was you?
I was 14. I want to say I was 14 years old.
How did you feel like? I mean, did you really understand like the criminal system like at that time? Or
Right,
that was
he
just something
always
like,
say
all
his
right,
name.
I'm just walking in here and I don't know what's going
I
on.
got an uncle by the name of Ironhead, and he was a furious gangster back in the day. I just got him out for another 3 murders. He just came home probably like I want to say I picked him up like 2 weeks ago. And he always been one of them niggas that nobody played with. And that's the only thing that was going through my head. Like I was cool with going to jail because I thought, I ain't know about when you go to jail, you be separated and juvenile be hit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just knew like shit. I'm finna shoot all these niggas. I'm
Oh,
finna
he
kill
was trying to go to jail to be. He wanted to be in there with Ironhead, but he ain't know Ironhead was an adult. So he thought being a juvenile, he was gonna get closer to his uncle. All he had to do was shoot somebody. That's basically what he's saying, y'all.
My intention was to kill him. Just man, I had intention on killing him.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go be with my uncle.
Told
What
you.
happened was I did my normal little routine. I always sold my little dope at 444 Sunset. But I was trying to transition into selling perk and start selling crack. So when I got up there, the nigga started talking like, nigga, we'll take your bomb, nigga, we'll take your weed, nigga, we'll take all your shit, nigga, you ain't coming on our block. These niggas didn't even give me time to explain myself. Like, I really honestly was just waiting. I wasn't posted on their block to take none of their customers. Got the final one on them. I got the best of them. Because, I had been in and out of juvenile at that time, so I kind of knew how to fight a little bit. I whooped his ass, and his friend didn't like it. He jumped in it. And all these niggas was like 26 and 27. I ain't number 14 at this time. These niggas down there in their 30s. So, they around and let me walk away.
Yeah, this
I don't
guy
know
is
what
crazy,
made them
yo.
let. They supposed to go and kill me right then. But I went down there. I got my gun.
He was
and I came
14,
back.
Hotmo.
Nobody was
That's
right
probably
there.
why.
I seen him. I turned on English. I seen Greg ass in them woods up there. He had like a J in front of him. J is like a crackhead.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, "What you gonna do?" I said, "I'm finna shoot him, man. I shot him. I shot the J first. Bah! After I shot the J, he tried to run. I ain't never been good at sports. A lot of that shit. I just got a lucky shot and I shot it. Boom! He fell on the ground.
Damn.
He was like, ah! I was like, damn, boy, this gun make a nigga feel like Superman.
That nigga like Bishop off
When I
juice.
heard him crying after I shot his ass, cause the J he wasn't crying as loud as this nigga. I said, oh, a nigga better not even say nothing else to me. I'm gonna have every nigga that say
Yeah, what happened to the other 2 people? Yo, you say you shot 4 people, man. What happened to the other 2? Yo, why he ain't mention the other 2 in this story, man? Yo, Rallo got to stop this shit. For real. This is he's going off the deep end. Them snitching allegations then turned this man upside down, yo. Like, what the fuck happened to Rallo? Like, yo, what is the purpose of this story? That's what I'd ask him. I'm like, if I was interviewing him, right, I'd listen to the whole story and I'd be like, all right, so I mean, like, what was the reason for, like, can you explain why you told us this? he probably start stuttering this shit. Man, Rallo, interview over, because this is out of control, man. What are you talking about, man?
something to me, cry like that nigga. I had lost trial. I had shot.
Yo, Rallo's out of control, yo. I was dying laughing at this shit earlier though. Like, yo, this guy's crazy. I think he trying to do like a had like a Fat Joe moment or something. They trying to go viral. But let's shoot the Rallo, man. Hope he figures things out, man. But have y'all seen what's going on with the Dwight Howard? Yo, wife or something went berserk, which is crazy because my thing is, yo, you know what type of nigga. No, he never discussed how much jail time he got. Even if it is true, like, what's the purpose of the story? Like, I'm not even. It could be very well true, but yo, I don't think we needed to know that. Like, it was just unnecessarily told.
It's everybody else.
This is not him. This is.
Hold on, where's that whole video at? I know Live Bets probably got it. There you go.
He was coaching our son to lie on me, and I had.
My thing is, right, well, women be finding themselves in the wildest situation. Like, yo, with all the wild allegations around Dwight Howard, you know, nigga been fucking with trannies and shit. Why the fuck would you marry that nigga? Like, whatever she's going through, I don't have no remorse. Like, the man already had transformer allegations around his name. So what the fuck did you think was going to come out of this? You feel me? I remember talking about that before. I think her and the other girl got into it a while ago. And I'm like, yo, this girl is fucking tripping. Yo, you dealing with a whole, I don't even know what you call him at this point. He tweeted out Dirk going to beat his case, but then had Adam 22 there talking about a fake article on Dirk. What? Oh yeah, Vlad getting out of control, man. I don't think he care about truth no more.
I had to record it, and it's this shit. I try to tell everybody he needs some help, and ain't nobody wanna fucking listen because he got the money. I gotta say whatever y'all don't understand. I live with him. He needs some help, and this is it. This is what I'm fucking losing my fucking marriage to. This shit.
Damn.
This shit right here. I told everybody, y'all gotta help him.
God
He
damn,
is
yo.
spiraling. I'm in here with him. I'm trying to love him through it.
I think she is spiraling. I got that. I just gonna motherfucking show that man's stash on camera, man. That's crazy, Dwight. Dwight need to get his girl in check, man. She out of order for this.
He was coaching our son to lie on me, and my marriage has landed me in a very dangerous position. My stepdaughter was just taken by CPS because of her father. CPS and the police have been here 3 times in less than 3 months, and I stood in it with my husband, even though I was scared for my own self. Whatever he wanted me to say, whatever it was, and I'm thinking this is my husband. I had everybody around me saying, even after I tried to divorce him the first time, everybody around me says, you can't leave your husband this soon. You said through sickness, through health, through just, you said through good or bad. That's why I came back, but this is going way too far. This is not him. This is not the white.
So him dealing with trannies wasn't far enough. Now that was too far, and you found out he on drugs. But when he dealing with trannies, you was cool with that though. Man, get the fuck out of here. I ain't got no remorse for
Took
this
our
girl.
daughter. And I'm just sitting there like, do I speak up? Do I be quiet? What do I do? But I caught this man. I caught this man forcing our 12-year-old son
to cover for him, his son, to cover for him. He had him lying. I recorded it. He was coaching our son to lie on me, and I had to record it. And it's this shit. I try to tell everybody he needs some help.
That's right.
And ain't nobody would have fucking listen because he got the
about
money.
3 ounces in that shit.
I kept saying, whatever, y'all don't understand. I live with him. He needs some help. And this is it. This is what I'm fucking losing my fucking marriage to. This shit.
God damn, man.
This shit right here. I told everybody, y'all gotta help him. He is spiraling.
Somebody gotta help that
with him.
man.
I'm trying to love him through it. I was gonna run out the door. I was gonna leave him. But everybody told me, don't leave him. He's struggling. I stayed, but not this year. We got the police involved. CPS, you lying on me. You making up alibis. You got our son, my stepson, lying. And thank God I recorded it. And he innocent in this, but you said just to protect yourself, you would take anybody out, including me, and I can't let you do it no more. I don't want to shit.
Yo, but this is what I'm saying, yo. Like this is like, yo, this type of shit is hilarious to me because what did you think you was getting involved in? I mean, like I said, he a mechanic, yo. He like to work on transmissions, man. Like, what else? Like, what kind of guy did you think you was getting? That's all I'm saying, yo. For her, like, why are you surprised or shocked or appalled or amazed or whatever? Whatever words you want to use to describe it. Like, the man got caught dealing with boys. He likes it. The fuck, he admitted it. You married him, man. Had kids by him. Now you on this bitch crying and shit, telling he need help. He needed help back then. The fuck, he just thought needed help. Like, that boy Ben needed help, man.
The dirty secrets. I don't want to go out like how everybody else did this, man. But I gotta protect myself now. I'm uncomfortable. Now I don't know what is gonna. I don't know. I'm uncomfortable. This man has the money. This man controls it all. And it's not about no money. I've been with this man for 14, 15 months. I never asked him for $1, nothing. I'm not on the credit cards. I just love him for him. But then being here with him, I'm trying to love him through it. Shit is going too fucking far. And I'm so embarrassed. And I gotta even I'm just like, I don't know what to do. When I heard my stepson being coached to lie on me, I gotta protect myself now, and I know it's supposed to be through sickness and health, but this shit is scary.
It's sad.
This
She love that shit. She keep picking that shit up.
This is why I'm losing my fucking marriage. Because the money, y'all didn't want to help him.
About a half ounce right there.
It's going to fucking.
I think the White House, this bitch buying motherfucking 3 ounces. The White House, this bitch buying 4.5. You can front that shit to somebody, the White help somebody get right.
I'm not mad at you for lying. And I love you still. And it is no beef, David, okay? You don't have to hide from me or run from me. I miss Amber. I'm going to be in this room in the corner. I'm not bothering you. You're innocent in this. But never forget, when you lie on people, David, you can get them killed, sent to prison. You can. So you must always tell the truth.
Yeah.
Telling the truth, but you lie, how you made them lie. I'm not mad at you for lying. What are you doing in Layla's room? Framing her?
Dwight Howard wife exposed him, exposed him for buying 4.5 a coat. You know what I mean? I think he probably bought 4.5 at a time. He could be copping whole joints. You never know. I don't know how his habit is, but she has had enough. But she's not taking accountability for putting herself in this situation because he always been suspect.
Framing her. And I'm going to record it all. What are you doing?
I think Dwight Howard responded to this. I think he responded. Let's see what the fuck they said. I think I know I seen it. I don't know if I saved it though. I don't think I saved it. And well, man, sleep to Dwight Howard, man. I hope he get himself together, man. Look, they say crack kills, man. Yeah, they say crack kills, man. You know, we don't need none of our brothers or sisters on crack cocaine, man. It's a powerful drug, man. Destroys households. And they go broke, he gonna start stealing. Did y'all see Lil Papa manager spoke out about his death?
Son, Papa loved his child's mother. He loved Toy to death. We're not gonna never.
Yeah, I think so
don't
too.
ever want y'all to
Lifestyle.
take what you see on the internet and run with that and continue to blame people.
She was picking. She kept picking it up too much. She fuck around too. You know, his habit probably just a little bit more worse. She might control hers a little better.
And say, well, this is the reason, and she the reason, and he the reason, and they the reason. No, everybody have to deal with their own things on their own time. And if you really knew Papa, you knew this is what Papa wanted.
Dang.
Papa never was happy with life. It had nothing to do with anybody. He just feel like he wasn't making nobody happy. And that wasn't the way it took care of his son. Papa loved his child's mother. He loved Toy to death.
Yeah, where's the whole video? Let's try to find the whole video. We're gonna get to Jesse Jackson because I got a lot to say about that. And Epstein. Y'all know how we do. Y'all know how we do. Oh man, we gotta watch a fuckboy video. Anybody else share that shit? I guess so, man. Let's gotta go to Music 101 page, man. Yeah, I don't know. That was crazy to say at the funeral. Yo, it's been a lot of wild things said at funerals lately. Wait till I get the Jesse Jackson joint.
Every last one of us, he ain't want no funeral.
All right, y'all. So this is the manager. She was the last person to see Papa alive. Remember the story? The story in his death was he got into a single car crash. Called the manager. The manager told him to meet her at Walgreens or one of them or some store like that. And when she got there, he refused to get out of the car and killed himself. That's the story. Shit sound crazy. Like I don't know what the single car crash. You talking about a single car crash just means he didn't hit another car. So I don't know how he go from that to this. She get there, he calls her, she get there, then he kills himself. I don't know. I guess, that's how it happened. But this is the first time she spoke since then. Because she's the last person to talk to him.
That Papa told every last one of us he ain't want no funeral. So I want all y'all to know when he come back, he coming for everybody that participated in this. But I battled with this a lot. I battled with talking. I battled with just even being here. And I even called Gotti, somebody that I knew for a bunch of years, and I said, Gotti.
Now wait, before I go on, check out this promo.
Man,
This your boy
I don't like
MB.
fucking with y'all. See the music 101, man. I used to be cool with him till he started acting flaw.
And before I say anything, I want to tell everybody in this room that Papa told every last one of us he ain't want no funeral. So I want all y'all to know when he come back, he coming for everybody that participated in this. But I battled with this a lot. I battled with talking. I battled with just even being here. And I even called Gotti, somebody that I knew for a bunch of years, and I said, Gotti, between me, you, and Toy, we have become public enemy number one. And I think the thing that bothered me the most,
I don't think nobody mentioned Gotti or the other person she mentioned. I think she might have became public enemy number one. But I don't remember anybody saying anything about Gotti or whoever Toy is.
Should I make a statement? Should I say something? And when he said to me, he said, Dee, you gotta remember, no matter what you say, it's not gonna be right for somebody. So if you feel it in your heart, if you want to, do what you want to do. But people that knew you, they know. But I want to start by saying, when people ask, and I read a lot of comments, and they say, what did she say? Or what did the manager say? Let me tell y'all what I said. I said, Papa, get up. You got a show to do. I said, Caprice, why is Papa still asleep at 8:45 and he got to be on stage at 9? I said, everybody around us, Papa got stuff to do. Why are we sitting around? I said, Papa, you can't lay in bed today. We got stuff to do. I said, Papa, you got more people than you depending on you. You can't give up ever. I was never easy on Papa.
Yeah, that's like a lot of fucking stress you putting on that young brother. And I think people want to know what you said once you got to the scene. When he called you and he ended up killing himself. I don't think we care about what you told him earlier that day. I don't think that's what people was referencing when people ask, what did she say? Like, we don't care about what you told him yesterday, man. Or the day before, or hours. I think people was wondering, since you was the last person to talk to him before he ended his life, what happened? I think that's what people wanted to know. She might explain it.
And I say that with the most love. I wasn't easy on him. And it had nothing to do with work. Because my work was Papa, Kofi,
that's why
my family.
That's why I stopped fucking with him, Hot Mo. I realized he was flawed. He flawed as a bitch.
So it was never about business. It was me knowing what I was dealing with. I also said, Papa, you're a winner. You're a father. You're a man of God who knows God. I said, don't ever stop praying. I said, you have a son to live for. Yeah. I said, you have a family of people that need you and depend on you. I said, you have you depending on you. I said, you got to get help. I said, as long as I'm here, you're never alone. I said, as long as your mother that prays for you every day, Pastor Sherry that prays on your mother's prayer line every day, prays for you. A lot of people don't understand this, and I read a lot of comments that said, everybody around Papa failed Papa. And I couldn't get up here and not acknowledge to all the fans and the people who took the time to be here to say, nobody failed Papa. Papa got up every morning and read his scriptures. Papa had people praying for him every day. Papa prayed every day. Papa got brothers. Papa got family. Papa got people that stay with him and leave their jobs to sit beside Papa every day. And that goes to anybody in here that's dealing with people, and you're dealing with people that are mentally affected. We tried to heal Papa through love. The problem was what Papa was battling, no human could help him with. Only Papa could help Papa. So I don't ever want anybody to take away the fact that
I don't see it.
it's quite obvious he had more love than he could even deal with. But sometimes when people are dealing with their own things inside, and it has nothing to do with other people, because if Papa was here, he would say, all y'all the reason. Every fan, every family member, every artist, anybody that he was attached to, he would say that we were all the reason he's not here.
Dang.
So I just want to say to everybody,
and maybe life just was too much, yo. Everybody, see, this what I be talking about when people say things like, you know, if I made it out of the situation, you could too. And that's why I never subscribe to that theory or that mentality of when people say that. Well, I came from this situation. Why can't this person? And it's like, yo, everybody is different. You know, everybody don't got the same willpower. Everybody don't got the same strength. You know, and what make me might can break you and vice versa. So, I don't know, yo, ain't really nothing you can do, you know, in that type of situation. But I think when it came to her, people just want to know, like, the story just don't sound right. It just don't sound right. Maybe he just wanted to die, yo. Opposite of the single car crash. Maybe, you know, maybe the single car crash had nothing to do with it. But the way the story was painted, it painted like that was all, it was all together. And maybe it wasn't. Maybe he been struggling with, you know, suicidal thoughts.
All said and done, we all got to live our own lives. We all got to go through our own destinies. What we do know is Papa was a family man. He loved every person in his life. He took care of every person in his life. Contrary to anything you may have heard.
Like she was putting more pressure on him, to be honest. Based off what she was saying in the beginning. I told him this person needs you, this person needs you, that person. Like everybody, that's you know, that's a lot to put on a young brother, man. Some people can't take that shit, man.
And I would never, as I always did, I protected him then, I'm gonna protect him now. I'm never gonna let his name go in vain. Papa took care of every person in his life. Papa took care of his son. Papa loved his child's mother. He loved Toy to death. We're not gonna never, so I don't ever want y'all to take what you see on the internet and run with that and continue to blame people and say, well, this is the reason, and she the reason, and he the reason, and they the reason. No, everybody have to deal with their own things on their own time. And if you really knew Papa, you knew this is what Papa wanted. Papa never was happy with life. It had nothing to do with anybody. He just feel like he wasn't making nobody happy. And that wasn't the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
because in truth,
she probably would say that, bro.
All of us happy. He made all of us happy, and we showed him that, and we appreciated him for it. So I just want everybody to know we thank y'all, and continue Papa's legacy the way he would have wanted y'all to. Continue to love on his family. Continue to love on his son. Don't be rude to people, y'all. Don't be mean to people, to the fans, to everybody. Because if you know Papa, he was love. Papa was love.
After hearing his manager speak, I have to say this.
We don't care what you have to say, my brother. But now rest in peace to that young boy, man. That shit crazy. I gotta. So Jesse Jackson. Should we go to Jesse Jackson? No, Epstein. Epstein. Did y'all see this? So y'all know some new Epstein files got released the other day. Yesterday, as a matter of fact. And it details. So before I do that, let me show you this. So y'all remember when Epstein first died, 2 correctional officers got charged. Right? But one of these correctional officers took payment. Or I'll show you what I'm talking about. T-Mac. It is, Nick. Guess that back is stupid sometimes.
Dry and cool tonight. Tomorrow as well, high temperatures will only hit the upper 40s. All right, now to the news. 2 federal correctional officers are facing charges in connection with the suicide death of Jeffrey Epstein. Michael Thomas and Tova Noel appeared before a judge this afternoon. They're accused of fabricating log entries to say they checked on Epstein.
Tova Noel. Before Epstein died, the bank had her under investigation for strange deposits, cash deposits. Just look at. Wait till I read y'all this article.
Every half hour, the night he took his life at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Lower Manhattan. Prosecutors say that instead of doing their jobs, they sat at their desks for 2 hours surfing the web and taking naps. The 2 guards were offered a plea deal, but they turned it down. They say they're not guilty in the case. A wild scene this morning as a gunman opened fire, sending bullets flying.
So whatever happened with that? What was the resolve of their case? So look at this, y'all. So earlier today, I sees this. I see this right here. Prison guard overseeing Epstein Googled him minutes before he was found dead. He made a mysterious $5,000 cash deposit 10 days before his death. So y'all know I don't
Breaking news from
I don't never just see things on the internet and just believe it. I gotta look it up for myself.
New York. New DOJ documents just dropped a bombshell in the Jeffrey Epstein case. One of the guards on duty the night he died Googled him minutes before his body was found. And that's not all. Tova Noel was working the overnight shift at the Metropolitan Correctional Center on August 10th, 2019. She and another guard were supposed to check on Epstein every 30 minutes. Instead, prosecutors say she shopped for furniture online and snoozed. The other guy browsed motorcycles. At 5:42 a.m., Noel searched latest on Epstein in jail. She searched again at 5:52 a.m.
That's what I was saying in the beginning. At first, I thought I thought he faked his death. Then I thought he was dead. Now I'm leaning towards, I don't think he did, man. Cause remember in the earlier documents, it got revealed that a correctional officer said that she think that they swapped him out.
40 minutes later, at 6:30,
it's just too much mysteriousness around his death. He had a whole 20-minute conversation with some girl who got all his possessions. Unrecorded, though. Like, how the fuck did he get in the phase? How he have an unrecorded conversation? Like, how that don't even make sense. All jail calls are recorded. The next day, he dies after he had a 20-minute unrecorded conversation. Like, it ain't like he's talking to his lawyer. This just a girl.
a.m., her colleague found Epstein dead in his cell, hanged, with strips of orange cloth. When questioned by the DOJ in 2021, Noel denied it. I don't remember doing that, she claimed. Breaking news from New York. New DOJ document claimed she said FBI records weren't accurate. She didn't recall looking him up at all, but the searches are just the beginning. Chase Bank filed a suspicious activity report on Noel's account in November 2019. 12 cash deposits starting April 2018. The largest, $5,000 on July 30th, 2019, just 11 days before Epstein died. Records show 7 deposits totaling $11,880. Noel started working in Epstein's housing unit on July 7th. The timeline is tight, claimed.
Yo.
She said FBI...
Yeah, that is fucking crazy. So look. Alright, so this is the title. Epstein prison guard Googled his name minutes before his passing and made deposits days earlier. Minutes before his passing. Newly released Department of Justice records have added a puzzling layer to the circumstances surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's passing in federal custody, which have long fueled questions about what happened inside the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. Documents revealed that one of the correctional officers responsible for monitoring the predator searched for news about him online just minutes before his body was discovered. This right here. According to the Department of Justice documents, can y'all see this? In FBI computer forensic records, correctional officer Tova Noel searched the internet for updates about Epstein on the morning of his passing. The FBI analyst of prison computers claimed Noel searched latest on Epstein in jail at 5:42 a.m. and again at 5:52 a.m. on August 10th, 2019. Less than 40 minutes later, Epstein was found lifeless in his cell. Like, this is crazy, y'all. So it says, also correctional officer Michael Thomas, Noel's colleague on duty that night, discovered Epstein hanging in his cell at approximately 6:30 a.m. as per the federal records. When questioned under oath by Department of Justice investigators in 2021, Noel denied making the searches. I don't remember doing that, she said in a sworn statement. She further claimed the FBI records were incorrect, adding, I do not recall looking him up. Additionally, court documents revealed that the two guards spent portions of the night sleeping and browsing the internet despite Epstein being housed only a few yards from their desk. According to federal prosecutors, Noel browsed furniture websites while Thomas searched for motorcycle deals in sports. What's the part I'm looking for? All right, the bank accounts. Separate records released by the Justice Department reveal another unusual detail tied to Noel's finances. A Chase Bank suspicious activity report sent to the FBI in November 2019 flagged a series of cash deposits into Noel's bank account. According to the documents, 12 cash deposits began on April 18th, accumulating in a $5,000 deposit made on July 30th, 2019, just 10 days before Epstein's death. So it looked like she was getting cash deposits weekly. The DOJ file shows 7 deposits totaling $11,880 recorded between December 2018 and July 2019. The records also noted that Noel had started working in the special unit on July 7th, 2019, only weeks before Epstein was found lifeless. Despite the flagged activity, the newly released documents indicate that investigators did not question Noel about the deposits during her DOJ interview. That's crazy, man. At the time, Noel was reportedly driving a 2019 Land Rover valued at around $62,000. Man. Another detail from the newly disclosed records involves a blurred figure seen on surveillance footage inside the prison the night before Epstein passed away. Investigators previously described the figure as an unidentified correctional officer. However, an internal FBI briefing included in the latest DOJ file suggests the person could have been Tova Noel. At approximately 10:40 p.m., a correctional officer believed to be Tova Noel carried linen or inmate clothing up the L tier, the FBI stated. Yo, so what happened with this case? Hold on.
Watch yourself. Watch yourself. I think we're going to try to get a fair trial before people are going to call the case based on the evidence and what's really going on. I plan to make a full defense, and when we get inside the courtroom, it will all come. I will pursue it vigorously. Why we're here. Unfortunately, the decision.
So she made strange deposits, and the Department of Justice never asked her about it? That's crazy.
That led to the death of Mr. Epstein were not only because of what my client did or did not do. It was because of a system that failed completely. There are many things that should have happened that didn't happen, yet there are only 2 people here now who are facing criminal charges. Matter of fact, any and every other person that made decisions.
I don't know if it was incompetence. It sounds like she was paid. She was paid to look the other way. That's what it looked like to me. Science, she was paid to look the other way, man. They probably bought her that motherfucking Range Rover too. That's what the fuck it sounds like to me. I don't know, yo. Let's see what happened. What happened to the correctional officers charged in Epstein's case?
According to ABCNews.com, federal prosecutors in New York officially dropped charges against Tova Noel and Michael
Hey, yo,
Thomas,
get the
the
fuck
two
out of here,
correctional
man.
officers on duty when Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in a federal lockup there.
That shit was a whole show, man. That was a show. Yeah, I swear, yo, man, we living in a wild world, man. I'm trying to tell you. Whenever we got a situation where you got to question the validity of the death of one of America's biggest child sex traffickers. You know what I mean? You got to question that shit. They dropped the charges. They were never going to charge them to begin with. They were never going to charge them to begin with. That shit was all a play. We got to do something, y'all. You know, we gotta do something. Yeah, we're going to charge them, then drop it. You know, make a whole spectacle out of it. See, people don't realize how dirty these people are, man, and how forward thinking they is. Like, they think ahead, man. They think ahead. Ran a whole play. That's what it looked like. Why was the charges dropped? Did they give an explanation as to why? Or they just dropped the charges and that's it? She falsified government records. I can't make this shit bigger.
More than 2 years after Jeffrey Epstein's suicide, the U.S. attorney has dropped charges against the two prison guards on duty when he died. The news coming just days after the conviction of Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's former girlfriend and associate. Epstein was awaiting trial.
Right after she get convicted, they dropped the charges. How convenient. Well, I can't make this fucking screen bigger, man. Some bullshit. Oh, they got community service, y'all. It made the two officers entered into a deferred prosecution agreement contingent on Thomas and Noel completing community service and having good behavior. I don't know why I can't make the screen bigger. Where are we living at? Now, Jesse Jackson, man. Funeral. Jesse Jackson's son, when Jesse Jackson first died, his son held a press conference when he asked specifically. I'm gonna let y'all listen to him. No, community service for basically a person dying on their watch. That's still crazy. Y'all was charged with negligence. They got, correctional officers take an oath. Y'all broke y'all oath and somebody supposed to die on y'all watch. Community services, that's all that's wanted. It's crazy. But all right. People probably don't even know that charges got dropped. They probably did that shit so quietly. You know how they do. They put the bullshit out real loud and then resolve it quietly. I think so too, Bob.
Human beings who's ever lived. With that said, I think the task of the business of going forward is in small measure going to fall largely on Yusef and in small measure on me. Dad believed that funerals were not for...
My internet geeking tonight, yo. Fuck that shit. Hold on, yo. And that fucking stupid. I ain't gonna be. I'm just gonna go to the part. I hate just going to clips sometimes, because a lot of times they stop it short.
He believed.
All right, so let me show y'all what he said. So look at this.
Prophetic.
Yo, Jesse Jackson's son asked specifically, do not politicize my father's death.
Do not bring your politics out of respect to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the life that he lived to these homegoing services.
I think they bought her land. I think they bought her that said she was driving a 2019 Range Rover. In what? In 2019. What was that?
Funerals were for the living. Come respectful and come to say thank you. But these homegoing services are welcome to all. Democrat, Republican, liberal, and conservative, right wing, left wing, because his life is broad enough to cover the full spectrum of what it means to be an American. We only ask people to come and be respectful in the context of the extraordinary life that he lived. Each day we...
Now look, you heard him specifically tell these people. Play it again. Because it was geeking.
Do not bring your politics out of respect to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the life that he lived to these homegoing services.
So he asked these people specifically, y'all, do not get political at my father's funeral.
He believed that they were great gathering meetings, and no two life or lives in human history will have...
y'all. Tonight. What the fuck going on? So look, y'all. Obama, Joe Biden, who I'm surprised he's still around, and Kamala Harris used this man's funeral as a fucking anti-Trump rally. After the son said specifically, do not make my father's funeral about politics. Leave your politics home. They did it anyway, man. They did it anyway. I'd have kicked them out. President, I don't fuck who, president or not, ex-president, I'd have kicked their ass out. He says, father did it to you? Probably did. Hey, that is true. Father probably did it too. Oh, yeah. You know, I ain't trust Jesse Jackson. Anyway. I don't trust none of them guys that was around back in that time and still was alive. They was getting people out of there. If you was really for the people, your ass was getting killed or you was getting sentenced to prison. Man, they're not geeking tonight. I got too much things open or something. Hold up, y'all. This shit blowing. Turn the show off, turn it back on or something. Let me turn the show off, turn it back on. They had no snipers. Is this qualified what it did?
What we doing, what we should be doing, how we should be doing it.
I don't know what it is, y'all.
I'm confused.
I got I got the most expensive modem that AT&T got. How the fuck that shit acting dumb like that? Hell no. Ain't never been as free as they claim. Where the I get a booster from? I gotta look into that. I'm just saying that I'm just not surprised, yo, because the Democrats, what the fuck Democrats? Politicians, they don't take, yo, any opportunity they get to push their narrative, that's what they gonna do. We watched Charlie Kirk whole funeral turned into a fucking Republican rally. Like, that shit was disgusting. Like, yo, that's crazy though, man. Like, how you turn a man funeral into a fucking rally? A rally, yo. Charlie Kirk funeral was like a fucking wrestling match, like a WWE fucking Royal Rumble match. Like, that's how they treated that shit. They did not treat that like a funeral at all, man. I want to hear what these people said. That's how they did it. They came out there, music coming out and shit. It was lights. I think they might even had some motherfuckers. I think it might even been fireworks. There was fireworks at Charlie Kirk funeral. I think it might have been, man. I think it might have been fireworks, y'all. Straight up. Oh, goodness. What the fuck? What is this, man? That's why my phone was geeking. I mean, my computer was geeking. Can't get this shit off my screen, man. What? Yeah, I think I might need an update. That's why this shit was going like that. Yeah, this shit, these motherfuckers out of control, man. Yes, man. All right, so let's go to the funeral, man. Let's see what these people say, y'all. See if it's bad as it sounds. I'm gonna start with Obama. I think Obama went first.
What is possible and what can be unburdened by what has been. As he once said, when a barrier falls for one of the locked out,
I would never have us speaking at nothing. I ain't gonna lie. Once her name would have appeared on the list, I'm like, nah, fuck that. Get out of here. We don't need her talking. That's fine, Obama. I think Obama was after that. I think Obama after him. Yeah.
From the 60s and the 70s, coming out of Jim
They
Crow,
look like Isaiah
trying
Thomas.
to make a way out of no way.
She probably did get an invite.
When he would improvise in a poem, I am somebody. When he would say, even if I'm on welfare, I'm like, he talking to me. Even if I'm poor, oh, he talking to me.
Is that Isaiah Thomas?
He had a way of connecting personally with us. So today, when he said, keep hope alive.
Is it? It might be him.
When there was no hope for us. And all of you here from Chicago know, in the 60s,
Oh, all right.
we felt like
Fuck,
there
this
was
ass
no
doing that.
hope. Hope was lost. Hope was gone. This man gave us hope, gave us life, gave us energy. And today, I want to thank all of you for showing up. And to the organizers and presenters, I would just like to say to the organizers,
Oh, all right.
when you took on the challenge to bring Chicago, ladies and gentlemen, President Barack Obama.
Obama in the building, y'all. Burn first black president. Obama. I can't stand his ass. Y'all don't take nothing. Y'all know people be over here like, yo, we don't take nothing serious over this bitch. Yo told him shut up and dribble, man. He's stupid as motherfucker. Hey, hold up.
It's good to be home.
Oh, Lord. I'm mad from Chicago, man.
I love you back.
They pissed me off already. They probably did, man. What's up, Maddie?
The book of Isaiah.
That like button.
Where are you at? No, see, I believe in the Constitution.
There you go.
The book of Isaiah God is looking for a messenger to guide a hardened and resistant people. And the Lord asks, whom shall I send? And who will go with us?
I heard about 12 friends.
To which Isaiah replies, here I am, Lord. Send me.
God damn, he ain't saying nothing. Yo, yo, can they stop clapping, please? Like, he ain't say nothing clap-worthy at all. Like, god damn, let the man speak. Shit. Like, they just can't wait for the next clappable moment. Like, he ain't said shit yet. Like, let him cook, man. Fuck.
To Mother Jackson and the Jackson family.
I thought you said Jackson
President
5.
and Mrs. Biden, President and Secretary Clinton, Vice President Harris, Pastor Dates, my old friend, though he looking good, Reverend Meeks, Reverend Jenkins. It is an honor to join you today to celebrate the Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson, a man who, when the poor and the dispossessed needed a champion, and a country needed healing, stepped forward again and again and again and said, send me.
Oh, man.
Reverend Jackson's immense
gifts
gifts were apparent at an early age, even if his circumstances conspired to try to hold him back. Born out of wedlock to a teenage mom, growing up under the oppressive cloud of segregation, confined to schools, sports facilities, movie theaters that were separate and unequal. It was a world where on Thanksgiving he'd have to wait for his mother to come home on the bus carrying leftovers from the dinner she had to cook for somebody else. A world designed to tell a child that he or she could only go so far. That to think otherwise would be foolish or dangerous. And that wisdom required you to accept your lot in life. And young Jesse refused to accept that verdict. He was a born leader, an athlete, a talker, knew how to talk, star quarterback, student body president. He could have
I like Trump speeches, man.
succeeded within the
Cause I ain't gonna lie
confines
to you, I rather Trump than this. I don't like political jargon. I don't like this shit because it's fake. This ain't the real you, bro. I mean, this ain't the real you.
were determined for him and had a successful life. But like so many of his generation, so many extraordinary civil rights leaders in the late 50s and 60s, that Joshua generation, he instinctively understood that individual success meant nothing unless everybody was free. So he became inspired by the bus boycotts in Montgomery. He led 7 black students into the whites-only library, sitting down and getting arrested for reading. Think about that. The library closed, but then it reopened. And when it did, it was open to everyone. Send me, Jesse said, even as a young man, and the world got a little bit better. By the time Reverend Jackson graduated from college, he attended Chicago Theological Seminary. He knew the nature of his calling. And
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to get political. Like, yo, he don't care about none of these things he's saying. He want to talk politics. You know, he got the world watching. He want to use this to push the Democratic agenda, man. And that's what the son was talking about. So for people that's coming in wondering why we watching this is why. Because Jesse Jackson's son made specific demands about his father's funeral. And the Democrats decided that they didn't give a fuck about none of that. They was going to use this as a tool. And he spoke out after this too. About the disrespect. And we're going to get to that. So this is why we watching this.
Politics. Out of respect. Do not bring your politics out of respect to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the life that he lived to these homegoing services.
So that was a message from the family. Now, these people didn't take heed to that message at all.
As everybody knows, the youngest member of SCLC, assigned to lead Operation Breadbasket here in Chicago, right around the time that Isaiah Thomas is talking about. And it was during this period, and especially after Dr. King's death, when the optimism of the early movement
y'all know there's
fade.
a lot of questions about Jesse Jackson's actions post Dr. King's assassination. I showed y'all that a couple days ago where the guy he was up on the balcony with Dr. King. And he said Jesse Jackson basically used Dr. King's death to elevate himself.
And leadership had begun to fracture. And when the country seemed to have grown bored, gotten weary of the idea of justice and equality, and moved on to other concerns, that Reverend Jackson rose above despair and kept that righteous flame alive. through Operation Push, he led boycotts and challenged corporate policies around hiring and
And so
contracting.
we ain't left on right. We get on Trump. We Trump and them Epstein files. Trump don't get no pass over here. Once your name appear in Epstein files, you're done. But no, he gonna get political. Just wait. It's coming. Trust believe.
Recognizing that civil rights without economic justice was an empty promise. He backed unions in their organizing efforts and activists
so
in fair
too. I think he
wage
was,
campaigns, understanding that if the have-nots
I think
and
that's
the
the only
have
way they
little
survive.
bits,
I think that's the only way him. This is my personal opinion. I think the only way him and Al Sharpton survived is they end up working with the federal government. Cause they was killing these guys back then, yo. They was prosecuting them. They was prosecuting them. These motherfuckers, they wasn't. If you was vocal back then, man, your ass was out of here, man. You heard me? Yeah, they wasn't playing that shit, man.
ever learned to make common cause across racial lines instead of fighting each other over breadcrumbs, everybody would benefit. He helped register millions of voters. He fought against biases in the criminal justice system. He drew attention to local abuses of power and called folks at the national level to account. And by the early 80s, he was delivering that message of change and hope across the globe, freeing hostages from captivity, fighting to end apartheid in South Africa. And then, in 1984, as the powers that be in Washington were rolling back hard-won progress, slashing the social safety net, when more and more folks were getting left behind, and greed was being trumpeted as a virtue. See, we've been there before. He stepped forward once again and said, "Send me." He ran for the presidency of the United States of America. I had just graduated from college during that first campaign.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find.
And I was living in New York at the time. I was working to pay off my student loans, eating a lot of tuna fish and Campbell soup.
Oh my God! Now, so he was living in poverty now. Yeah, I hate when they do this, man. Like they always try their hardest to identify with the poor in the black community. You know, I was eating tuna fish and Campbell soup. Bitch, no you what? You was eating caviar. Fuck boy.
And if I went to a diner, you know, I'd grab some extra crackers, put them in my pocket. And I was inspired by the civil rights movement. And I had in my mind to work for social justice. But even though I was full of good intentions, I was uncertain of how to serve and fighting off self-doubt. And I remember how, at the time, plenty of people, including, plenty of black folks,
One college for him.
were dismissing Jesse's chances. Suggesting, oh, he just wants attention, he can only get black votes. But then I remember one night sitting in my janky apartment.
Look.
And I got an old black and white TV with the rabbit ears. And I'm
see this why this is come on, Lachelle. You don't see that you don't see what he doing? You ain't gotta do all that, bro. Just tell a story. Like, we don't care about your college days, bro. We don't. At this point, right now, how you lived in college is irrelevant. It don't matter if you slept on a college park bench, bitch. This ain't about that. The fuck, like, if we don't, you need to hear that. This is similar to what the story Rilo just told. Just gave us a whole bunch of irrelevant information.
Kind of jiggering around, and it's about this big. I know young people can't imagine, but the TV was about this big. And I'm watching the Democratic primary debate between him and Walter Mondale.
Yeah, he had to put the he had to put the aluminum foil or the antennas and shit. Like, yo, come on, we don't need to hear that, bro. Not right now, yo. This ain't the time for that. Or the police.
And I remember how when that debate was over, I turned off that TV and I thought the same thing that I know a lot of people thought that night, even if they didn't want to admit it. That in his ideas, in his platform, in his analysis, in his intelligence, in his insight, Jesse hadn't just held his own. He had owned that stage.
You'll probably even watch that shit.
He wasn't an intruder. He wasn't a pretender. He belonged on that stage. And the message he sent to a 22-year-old child of a single mother,
Lord,
with a funny name,
here we go,
an outsider, was that maybe there wasn't any place, any room where we didn't belong.
Right, come on, man. That man bluffing, Fred.
And that message of fairness and dignity, of justice and hope, that's what the Rainbow Coalition was all about. In 1984, and then again in 1988, Jesse didn't just speak to black folks. He spoke to white folks and Latinos and Asian Americans.
Hold on. You don't gotta struggle to be black. No, we don't push that over here, Lachelle. But I'm saying, as far as we didn't need that information right now. It's like these people, like him and Kamala, they always try to go the extra mile to prove their blackness when we know they ain't us. You know what I mean? They ain't us, man. So they act like they gotta go above and beyond to prove it. Like, yo, just tell the story, bro. Leave all semantics home. We ain't got time for the semantics right now, man. We supposed to be celebrating the life of Jesse Jackson.
Americans. He spoke to family farmers and environmentalists. He spoke to gay rights activists when nobody was talking to gay rights activists.
There you go.
And blue-collar workers. And he gave them the same message that they mattered. That their voices and their votes counted.
That boy, let them gaze.
He invited them to believe. He invited us to believe in our own power to change America for the better. By the delegate count, Jesse's two candidacies
Who the fuck is she?
ultimately came up short. But he paved the road for so many others to follow. Doug Wilder became the first elected black governor. Carol Moseley Braun went to the U.S. Senate. Because of Jesse, the Democratic Party changed its rules, ending the winner-take-all distribution of delegates during presidential primaries, which meant
there you go. Look, everything he said just was leading up to this. You see how his voice changed once he got to his real message? He want to talk politics, man.
Outsiders like Bill Clinton or Bernie Sanders could stay competitive and build momentum instead of getting knocked out early. And it was because of that path that he had laid, because of his courage, his audacity that 2 decades later, a young black senator from Chicago's South Side would even be taken seriously as a candidate for the presidential nomination.
Yeah, he's stupid as shit, man. Yeah, had to beat Bill first. Look, and why, yo, he is making a speech about himself, man. That's another thing he keep doing too. Like, he did all of that to revert it back to him. Let me go back. Yo, he did all that talking to revert it back to his presidency. Like, get the fuck out of here, Obama.
I still credit that first run of justice
Man, see the Iran, man.
And Harold Washington's campaign for drawing me to Chicago. And I didn't know anybody when I first arrived.
We believe in God over here, man.
I was working as a community organizer, as it so happens, in neighborhoods right around here.
It's not an atheist channel.
Roseland, Woodlawn, Ogdale, West Pullman. And I'm meeting these young preachers like Meeks and some crazy priest named Flager. And I guess Jenkins was running around, but he's kind of young. He came a little bit later, so I'm going to churches and I'm listening to all these amazing preachers and it was hard work. And half the time I didn't know what I was doing. And progress was slow. And I definitely didn't know how I was going to survive these Chicago winters. Because I grew up in Hawaii.
Thought you was from Chicago.
But I do remember heading to the Push headquarters some Saturday mornings to listen and learn from Reverend Jackson. And y'all remember how on some mornings if there was a major issue going on, the room would be packed to the rafters. And sometimes some celebrity just wanders in. And then some mornings it was kind of low-key. Either way, though, the announcements would be made. Wow. Reverend Barrow say a prayer, and just sit there, and then finally he gathered himself
nobody don't pass over here
and he'd start.
I don't fuck with Obama because Obama pushed a lot of bullshit. Obama became president just by claiming black. Meanwhile, he avoided all black issues. He didn't do nothing for black people. All he did was make gay rights, push gay rights to the fucking moon.
You know, and sometimes he talked kind of low, so you couldn't quite catch what he was saying. So everybody lean in.
I don't like identity politics. You know, we should be voting based off of laws, based off of policy. Not identity, man. Not identity.
And over time, it was that same boundless energy that would emerge, and that same passion and that same insight. And he'd offer you a master class in economics on a Saturday morning. And he'd give you a seminar in American history and American politics. And he'd make complicated things plain. And he'd tell stories that would make you laugh 1 minute and cry the next. And whether you were a bus driver or a teacher or a business leader or a young organizer, you came away from those meetings with a better understanding of how the world worked, how power worked. And more importantly, he made you believe that if we came together, we could make the world work better. Now, talking about Jesse telling us we are somebody. I am somebody. And he wasn't just talking to young black boys like Isaiah, though he loved them fiercely. He wasn't just talking to young black girls
Yeah, that's a fact.
to help them believe, though he believed in them. He was talking about everyone who was left out, everyone who was forgotten,
Here you go.
everyone who was unseen, everyone who was unheard.
Guess he's talking about the immigrants now. He making it about immigration. Whenever they get to talking about that, they talk about the immigrants.
And in that sense, he was expressing the very
or the LGBTQ movement.
essence of what our democracy should be. The ideals at the very heart of the American experiment. The belief that regardless of what we look like or how we worship, regardless of where our ancestors come from or how much money we got, we're all part of the American family. We're all endowed with the same inalienable rights to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. We're all obligated to answer the call and step forward and take responsibility for making wrongs right and for caring for our neighbors and bringing the reality of America a step closer to its glorious ideals. And answering that call isn't always easy. And Reverend Jackson and his family knew that better than most. To do what he did, he would endure all kinds of hatred and setbacks and betrayals and doubters and death threats. He would sacrifice, as Jim Reynolds pointed out, the leisure and comfort of what was available to him as a far more financially secure life. And those sacrifices were not his alone. They were shared by his wife and his children. And they bore that burden with grace and strength. I got to know the Reverend and his family over the years, and as I watched his children follow his example of service, I came to appreciate the conviction that drove him, that he had passed on, the faith that guided him and that he had passed on. And it was a faith that didn't waver, a flame that burned bright, even as his body began to fail. The last time he and I had a chance to visit in person, he was already ailing. It was getting difficult for him to stand, difficult for him to speak. We were in Hyde Park.
They do this
in a hotel room. I embraced him and figured we'd just have a low-key visit. Maybe he'd need some rest. And he starts coming up with this project and this initiative and issues I needed to look into. And here's some commentary that he would suggest, and some phrasing that he thought might work, and maybe we might co-write an article. And listening to him, I couldn't help smiling. Because it took me back. And I started reminiscing with him about those Saturday mornings at Push and breakfast that he'd host, away from the full meeting. And I didn't get a chance to go to that until I was a state senator, and probably Meeks invited me. So I was like, I was tagging along with Meeks. And he'd pull out a piece of paper. He'd scribbled some stuff. And he'd start passing out assignments and pulling together working groups and asking for updates on the latest campaign. And I'll admit, let's face it, those sessions could run a little long. And did not always follow Robert's Rules of Order. But when Jesse called your name and acknowledged you in that room, especially if you were young, especially if you were just coming up, especially if you weren't sure you could pull off what you thought you might be able to do,
what the hell?
especially
Fuck, that's gonna happen.
when you needed help. When he did that, you stood up a little straighter. You knew you'd been seen. by this giant. He'd laid hands on you.
If you talk about this show.
And let you know you had a contribution to make. And so that day, I told him how much that meant to me.
He probably made
How much
all
it
this
meant
shit
to
up.
so many lives that he impacted.
These people be lying, yo. He probably made up this whole situation. This shit probably never even happened. That's why dude just got up and walked out.
Because I'd always be grateful for that legacy of hope. I know I've gone long. It was going to be much shorter until Isaiah spoke. I figure if a Detroit Piston can take up that much time, it was beautiful, and I mean that. Love me some Isaiah. We are living in a time when it can be hard to hope.
Here we go.
Each day we wake up to some new assault
Here we
on
go.
our democratic institutions.
Look. Look, he was itching toward politics. He just went whole political right here. Fuck, I got to get this out. I got to end this message with a shot at the Trump administration. And these guys are diabolical, man. At this man Fernwell, at the man's son said specifically. Let's go back to what the son said, man.
Respectful and come to say thank you. But these homegoing services are welcome to all. Democrat, Republican, liberal, and conservative, right wing, left wing, because his life is broad enough to cover the full spectrum of what it means to be an American. We only ask people to come and be respectful in the context of the extraordinary life that he lived.
Each day we
Ayo came in that bitch and did the total opposite.
set back to the idea of the rule of law.
Everybody hating the show.
An offense to common decency every day you wake up to.
Obama
To
used
things
us,
you just
man.
didn't think were possible. Each day we're told by those in high office to fear each other and to turn on each other. And that some Americans count more than others. And that some don't even count at all.
Hey, the show, this is all political right here.
Everywhere we see greed and bigotry being celebrated and bullying and mockery masquerading as strength. We see science and expertise denigrated while ignorance and dishonesty and cruelty and corruption are
The show, you gotta admit, he went full blown political. He just went full blown political at the end of his speech. He could have just avoided all of that and just said this and left. Because that's all he really wanted to do. All he really wanted to do was this last little minute that he got. That's all he wanted to spit out the whole time. You know, he's had to inch towards it.
Untold rewards every single day we see that. And it's hard to hope in those moments. So it may be tempting to get discouraged, to give in to cynicism. It may be tempting for some to compromise with power and grab what you can. Or even for good people.
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it is his son said specifically, leave your politics at home. His son said specifically, leave your politics at home. My father, Fernwood, is for all people. Democrat, Republican, left, right. Listen to him.
Do not bring your politics out of respect to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the life that he lived to these homegoing services.
You know, specifically. Like, I don't think he can get more specific than that.
Put your head down and wait for the storm to pass. But this man, Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson, inspires us to take a harder path. His voice calls on each of us to be heralds of change, to be messengers of hope, to step forward and say, send me. Wherever we have a chance to make an impact, whether it's in our school, or our workplaces, or our neighborhoods, or our cities. Not for fame, Not for glory or because success is guaranteed, but because it gives our life purpose.
Not for money.
Because it aligns with what our faith tells us God demands. And because if we don't step up, no one else will.
All right. So let's find out what Joe Biden spoke to, y'all. I know this is gonna be amazing. I'm sure Joe Biden's speech is gonna be fucking a classic.
Thank you. I think that clock is broken.
His speech probably ain't gonna be that long.
I'll try to keep this under 2 minutes. The Jackson family, I know we're
They
celebrating a
stand
life.
up that long? It's crazy.
Was the life lost? Having lost a wife and a daughter and a son, and it's cold out of the blue. It's not easy.
So did this man
No matter
talk
how
for
much
an
you love
hour?
them, no matter how close you
Oh,
were.
no, that ain't him.
So I just like to express my deep
Yeah,
sense.
so he can't stand up that long.
How can I say it? Simply didn't understand it. But the big thing is God left. He left you something that no one else could. He left you character.
Now I got it sped up, y'all. You know, good and goddamn well he don't talk that fast.
Honesty. You can't kid yourselves about what's right and wrong. President Obama, President Mrs. Clinton, Vice President
President
Harris.
Mrs. Clinton.
Jesse believes
Clinton was the
the Bible
president?
tells us that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength.
Why did they bring him up here, man?
They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not grow faint.
Right, he just disrespectful him to be talking. All the negative
Hope
shit
the
he
hell
said.
y'all got that, but you're gonna need help getting out of here.
Biden should be
You
in the
know,
home, man.
I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania initially, where the fact that I was an Irish Catholic wasn't a very positive thing to be. And then moved down to Wilmington, Delaware, which is segregated by law. And
you loved it.
And remained that way for much of my life.
Oh, so now,
And,
okay. So now we know why he was so racist against black people. Now we know. He grew up in Wilmington, Delaware, that was segregated by law. Most of his life, he grew up in segregation. Now it makes sense why he say super predators. Now we got to get these people off the streets. All right. Now, at least I understand now why he said it.
You know, it's interesting that Jesse Jackson, before we knew Jesse Jackson, I was raised with the notion that that hope.
Anti-politics, left or right. I give both sides the blues when it's warranted.
That's all you really have. You can't give up hope. My dad used to say, when you get knocked down, Joey, just get up. Just get up. Well, I was a kid. I was a relatively good athlete and a pretty good student. But I stuttered to talk like that. Now, if I told you all earlier, when I was a kid, I had a cleft palate or a club foot, none of you would have laughed. But it's okay to laugh at stuttering. I'm not being critical of you, but think about it. It's the one place where people think you're stupid. Oh, really? I'm a hell of a lot smarter than most of you. But all kidding aside, it makes you feel really small. Makes you feel really small. And you know, when I moved from Wilmington to Claymont, Delaware, a world-class town, I was surprised. I remember being dropped off at the little Catholic school I went to, third grade. And I watched this bus go by every day. And it passed, I was on the call of Philadelphia Pike connecting Wilmington and Philadelphia. And it passed the turn to the big high school, Claymont High School. And the little Catholic school I went to, Holy Rosie, was right on the corner. I remember saying to my mom, Mom, why is that happening?
Uncle Joe Biden.
She said, well, black kids aren't allowed to go to school with white kids in Delaware. And
And he loved it. Like he telling this story like he didn't love it. You loved every minute of it, fuck boy. Remember, he did a whole speech speaking against um um the black kids that was going the little girls. Remember, he did a whole speech talking about busing. We gotta go to his busing speech. Let's see if we can find that. Then we're gonna get back to Smokey Joe. Joe Biden.
Former Vice President Joe Biden, he's run for president twice before, unsuccessfully. He's never before been the frontrunner. Now that he is towering over all the other declared Democratic candidates, his almost 5 decades in public life are getting some real scrutiny. On top of that list, his record on civil rights during his younger days as a U.S. Senator. CNN's Jeff Zeleny has exclusively obtained some letters written by Biden himself.
everybody asks me, what kind of Democrat? I'm an Obama-Biden Democrat, man.
After 8 years alongside President Obama, Joe Biden is coming back as a solo act.
I'm ready to go.
With his long record facing a new look
Long record
in the
of racism.
spotlight of the 2020 campaign.
Gentlemen and ladies of the Senate.
One chapter receiving fresh scrutiny comes from his earliest years in the Senate, when he strongly opposed mandatory school busing. It was designed to achieve integration and a more equitable education. It was the mid-1970s. Biden favored desegregation, but not through busing. What's less known is how he followed the lead of some of the Senate's most fervent segregationists. In a series of never-before-published letters reviewed by CNN, the strength of Biden's opposition to busing comes into sharper focus. On March 25, 1977, Biden wrote, "My bill strikes at the heart of the injustice of court-ordered busing. It prohibits the federal courts from disrupting our educational system." Biden sought and received support from Mississippi Senator James Eastland, the Democratic chairman of the Judiciary Committee, and a leading symbol of Southern resistance to desegregation. He frequently spoke of blacks as, quote, an inferior race. Biden reflected on that era earlier this year.
There are a bunch of...
Look, now let's get back to his speech. So now we know who he is. Let's get back to him speak as if he didn't enjoy being segregated. Here he is. We're back at him right here.
And, the more I thought about that, I thought to myself, how can that be? How can that work? How can that be right? And so, as far as it sounds, I got involved in being concerned about it. I didn't know a damn thing about the civil rights movement. I was going in the 4th grade. But you know what's right, you know what's wrong.
Wasn't no motherfucker 4th grade and no motherfucker doing the civil rights movement. He just said he was in the 4th grade. Yo, he did not just say he was in the 4th grade during the civil rights movement. Let me rewind it just to make sure, just to make sure we all just say. I know he didn't just say that. Let's go back. I might have missed it, y'all. Sometimes there'd be a lot going on. So let me just make sure that's not what he really said. Oh, so he went too far back.
That way for much of my life. And, it's interesting that Jesse Jackson, before we knew Jesse Jackson, I was raised with the notion that that hope is all you really have. You can't give up hope. My dad used to say,
he probably did meant to say
when you get knocked down, Joey, just get up.
I think I went too far back.
Just get up. Well, I was a kid. I was a relatively good athlete, a pretty good student. But I stuttered.
His ass was 20.
To talk like that. Now, if I told you all earlier, when I was a kid, I had a cleft palate or a club foot, none of you would have laughed. But it's okay to laugh at stuttering. I'm not being critical of you, but think about it. It's the one place where people think you're stupid. Oh, really? I'm a hell of a lot smarter than most of you. But all kidding aside, it makes you feel really small.
No, he need to be in a
Makes you feel
wheelchair or
really
something.
small. And you know, when I moved from Wilmington to Claymont, Delaware, a world-class town,
Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit that like button.
I was surprised. I remember being dropped off at the little Catholic school I went
Nothing.
to, third grade.
Now, you know Joe Biden can't stay on topic. Like I don't even know who invited him. Like why? He should not have been invited as a speaker at all. Not at this age in his life.
Go by every day. And it passed. I was on the call of Philadelphia Pike connecting Wilmington and Philadelphia. And it passed the turn to the big high school, Claymont High School. And the little Catholic school I went to, Holy Rosie, was right on the corner. I remember saying to my mom, why does that happen?
He's making all this up.
She said, well, black kids aren't allowed to go to school with white kids in Delaware.
And what you say? What you say, Joe?
And, you know, the more I thought about that, I thought to myself, how can that work? How can that be right?
Yo, get the fuck out.
And so, as strange as it sounds, I got involved in being concerned about it. I didn't know a damn thing about the civil rights movement. I was going in the fourth grade.
Yeah, he said it. That whole story is made up, y'all. Yo, he was not in the fourth grade during the civil rights movement. He was not in no fucking fourth grade. Fourth grade, Joe? What's that? 7? 8, maybe? You wasn't 8 years old during the civil rights movement, bro. Hold up. I'm find out.
But you know what's right, you know what's wrong, and you feel it. You know, fact of the matter is, the man of God and the people throughout the decade of friendship and partnership, I knew Jesse.
Yo, Joe Biden was born in 1942, y'all. The civil rights movement was happening in the 60s. You about 18 years old, bro. What's he talking about? He said he was 4. He said he's in the 4th grade, man. Even if it was the 50, even if it was 1950, he was 8.
I'm only 83. I'll tell you laughing. That's just 40 times 2 plus. But all kidding aside, we came up through the same time. I knew Jesse, and history remembers him. I know he was determined and tenacious. I know he was underrated, undeterred, and unafraid. Not a joke.
Funny as shit.
And more than most,
he probably was in the 4th grade.
Jesse was dedicated with every fiber in his being to redeeming the soul of America. The soul of America. You know, Jesse and I came up together as leaders in the Democratic Party. We had very different backgrounds. In some cases, even different views, but never on race. Sometimes we went at it toe to toe. We disagreed on some issues. But that's what I actually admired most about Jesse. His passion. His passion.
Shit, man. I love my chat, yo. We made this bitch trip.
The courage of his convictions. And you know,
I got the best channel on YouTube, yo. Ain't no chat fuck with ours, man. We be on this bitch, man. We be tripping out these people.
It inspired a hell of a lot of us, even though we were the same age. You know, with his captivating presence, his stirring words, he would be easy for history to mistake Jesse for a firebrand. I think they'd get it wrong. Jesse certainly created his fair share of good trouble. But through decades of service,
good trouble?
Jesse's abiding message is one of unity. That's what he talked about.
Good trouble?
Through decades of service, Jesse's abiding.
You got to elaborate on that. What is good trouble, man? Sounds a bit racist to me. Good trouble? That you know how that sound to y'all?
Message of unity move people in the right direction. Above all, he always sought common ground. I remember telling Jesse that I knew a guy in South Africa that I was going to go see. His name is Nelson Mandela. And Jesse saying, how are you going to actually see him? By the way, the continent of Africa is going to be the largest continent in the world in terms of population by the year 2050. It's largest in the entire world.
Yo,
Watch, man.
What the fuck is he talking about?
And the fact of the matter was that I remember the group of senators going down to, I got elected when I was 29.
Man.
I wasn't old enough to be sworn in. For real. Some people
I don't
wasn't
know,
brave enough to be sworn in. But the point was, I had to wait 17 days before I could be eligible to be sworn in as the United States Senator. One of the benefits that had was I wasn't going to leave the Senate. I wasn't going to be sworn in because I got a phone call on December 18th before we were sworn in January that my wife and daughter had just been killed and my 2 boys are going to die.
What?
So I decided when I was going to, there was an accident. There was a Christmas shop, a tractor trailer hit it. So I decided I wasn't going to go to the Senate. And often pointed out to me, I said, my kids can.
Yeah, what the fuck is he talking about?
The state of Delaware can always get another senator. We had a Democratic governor. And, but my kids can't get another father. But because of a couple people, starting with Teddy Kennedy and a guy named Fritz Hollins from South Carolina, where Jesse is from, and a few others after Hubert Humphrey and others, they put their arm around me and they said, look, just stay for 10 months and then go. Because
I got you.
they knew I was going to be leaving, as Hillary can tell you, and all 3 of you can tell you, is that when you're a freshman, you don't get on the good committees. Committees everybody wants to get on are appropriations, finance, judiciary, and foreign relations.
It's gotta be like a joke. Like, why did he do that, man? Who invited? If I was Jesse Jackson's son, I would have to. Who invited this? Who did this? Who idea was it to make Joe Biden the speaker? Cause you're fired. Fuck that. You're getting fired.
So, to keep me down there, they put me on 2 really important committees. The Judiciary Committee, which allowed me to appoint the first black justice to the Supreme Court. And the Foreign Relations Committee. The real benefit of that was, I've been around so damn long, I literally, and I'm not being critical of my colleagues, I know more heads of state persons than any other president in the United States of America.
Big trouble.
Which means I know a lot about other countries. I spend a lot of time. But here's the point. The fact is that as I learned, and by the way, I've forgotten more about what Putin does and these guys and Xi than most people know. I've met with Putin anyway. And remember, Barack was a great, great man to be vice president for. I really mean it, Barack. Thank you. Barack and I had a deal where we'd talk with each other every morning we'd be the first 2 people we talked to. And every night we'd be the last 2 people we talked to. And Barack could be asking me a question or something, I'd say, well, it's all personal relations. He'd go, I know, Joe. Enough about all personal relations.
Yo, this guy.
But the fact of the matter is,
tripping.
That's why he was such a damn good president. And the whole point of what I'm trying to get at here is that, Jesse did it really well.
What?
You gotta know people. You gotta understand what's on their mind. You gotta kind of speak to them.
Yo, this need to be his last speech. We don't need to hear nothing else from Biden, man. Like, this has to be his last speech. Salute to him and everything he accomplished in life. But yo, we don't need no more of this. We don't need no more of this. Like he's all over the place. Then he just referenced Jesse Jackson after he done his whatever he's doing. He just throw Jesse Jackson in there.
Talk to him. And above all, Jesse always sought common ground. Of course, he preached hope because, folks, despite all he endured growing up, despite the pain and disappointment he experienced, Jesse was an optimist at his core. No matter what you say, at his core, he was an optimist. I don't know if it was born out of religious beliefs, I don't know if it was born out of how it arrived, but it arrived in people in different ways. But it mattered a lot. It mattered a lot. He kept the faith with the American people. Every time I moved away after I moved from Scranton, we'd go up here and spend the summers up there. Every time I leave my grandpa Ambrose Finnegan's home, he was an All-American football player at Santa Clara when Irish Catholics weren't very much in vogue, except in the mines up there, as Hillary knows that state well. And every time I leave the house, he yelled, "Joey,
oh no, bro,
keep the faith."
I'm ready to skip the Kamala.
And my grandmother will know, "Joey, spread it." Well, folks, I had the opportunity to come up in politics at a time with people like Jesse around, and Jesse in particular.
He couldn't stand
where
Jesse.
He talked about hope. He talked about hope. He believed in his bones in the promise of America. We're all created equal in the image of God. And we hear this all the time, but I wonder how many people really believe it.
No, you don't believe
He
that
believed
shit.
everybody deserved to be treated with equally and throughout their lives.
No. How you say that? Let's go back. Let's go to his 95 crime bill speech. Joe Biden 95 crime bill speech. Like, these people just be talking. You say that, but then you say this.
And that is, unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes.
Listen.
Because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity.
He just said he just said he believed in equal opportunity. Everybody should be equal. But in 94, he admitted that these people that he's referencing haven't been given an opportunity. But guess what his remedy is?
We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity.
No, not out of that.
That's a good instinct.
Fuck that.
But for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
Damn.
Beyond the pale.
Beyond
and it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society. And the truth is, we don't very well know how to rehabilitate them at that point. That's the sad truth. You're looking at the fellow who was one of the primary architects of the Sentencing Commission. You know what the basic premise of the Sentencing Commission is? I know the presiding officer knows. It was the first time in 80 years we rejected the notion that the condition of sentencing must be related to how long it would take to rehabilitate. I'm the guy that said rehabilitation, when it occurs, we don't understand it and notice it. And even when we notice it and we know it occurs, we don't know why. So you cannot make rehabilitation a condition for release. That's why in our system, there's the federal system, you serve 85% of your time. I remember when it was going on, when I was making these arguments in the late 70s, they used to call it Biden's same time for the same crime provision. It's a shame, but we don't know how to rehabilitate. But there is a consensus, and I will cease. A, we must make the streets safer. I don't care why someone is a malfactor in society. I don't care why
Yo, this
someone
is a total contradiction to what he's saying at this speech. He just admitted that we fucked these people over. I can admit that. But so what? They need to be taken off the streets, sent to jail. But he currently giving a speech talking about everybody is equal and everybody deserve opportunity. Man, get this motherfucker out of here.
Is antisocial. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society, try to help them, try to change their behavior. That's why we do in this bill. We have drug treatment and we have other treatments to try to deal with it. But they are in jail.
Damn.
Away from my mother, your husband, our families. But we would be absolutely stupid as a society if we didn't recognize the condition that nurtured those folks still exist. And we must deal with that. And I think there's a consensus among Republicans in that. Old barbed wire Republican conservatives just want to hang them high. Even those folks are saying, hey,
you never heard this
we
before?
got to deal with the root cause of this.
Yo, this speech was so egregious. I don't understand how black people voted for Joe. He shouldn't have. This speech and this bill was so detrimental to black people across the United States. He shouldn't have never got a black vote, ever. That's how bad it was.
One or the other, but separately. And liberal Democrats who used to say, let's look at the sociological underpinnings of why this occurred, and we have to, they're now saying, hey, look, we got to take back the streets. We'll make that fight later. So there is a consensus. I hope the remainder of the discussion as we close out the debate in this bill, we can end.
And let's get back to the current Joe Biden, that's talking nonsense right now. Because when it mattered, that's not how you was talking, bro. It's easy to say now.
And while we've never fully lived up to promise, I don't think things would have been the same had Jesse not been around, because Jesse decided that his life was ensuring that we never fully walk away from it either.
Man, I appreciate
bad
it.
times like
Welcome to the channel.
We're in a tough spot, folks. We got an administration
that
doesn't share any of the values that we have.
Getting
I think
political,
I'm
y'all.
exaggerating a little bit. So
all of them doing this, yo. They like at the end of every single one of their speech, they turn political. Yo, that is crazy, man. Like this was total disrespect of Jesse Jackson, Fernal, and his family. They all just said a whole bunch of nonsense and ended their speech talking politics.
he knew who we were at our best, and he simply refused to let us off the hook as a party, as a nation, or as individuals. And time and again,
Alrighty.
the triumph and turmoil, with relentless insistence on what is right and just, he helped lead us closer to fulfilling our nation's promise of restoring the nation's soul. He used his gifts to influence generations of Americans, and countless elected officials, including presidents, as you see here today. And though through his impassioned words on the campaign trail and through moments of quiet courage, Jesse changed history in ways numerous and profound. In fact, I want to thank the Jackson family again, because you don't do it without family. My dad used to have an expression, Miss Jackson. He said, family is the beginning, the middle, and the end. It's all family.
That's why we never tell him that shit.
And Rainbow Push Coalition.
He lying.
You know, the family, you're just incredible. But I promise you,
I don't know, his voice did change. I don't know what happened
as
to
much as
him.
we're celebrating here, when you leave here, you're still going to go home and you're going to feel a little hole in your heart. He's gone. He's gone. But only I can tell you from experience of losing so many people in my family, the day will come when his memory brings a smile to your lips before it brings a tear to your eye. It will come. It will come. And my prayer for years will be sooner than later. Look, you know, at the Legion of Americans, I know there are many who counted Jesse as a mentor, a friend, a hero. Let us be what Jesse called us to be.
Yeah, funny.
A margin of hope.
Oh, Lord.
Sometimes just a margin. You change people's lives, you change community lives. Lift up this country and light the path to be a nation Jesse always believed we could be. You know, 3 years ago this week, Jesse and I came together once again on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Walk across that bridge. When you stand there, you come from a state like Delaware, you understand what's on the other side when they're waiting there. Thugs on horses waiting to beat the living hell out of you.
What?
Well, let me tell you something. We reenacted that a number of times. But this time, Jesse's in a wheelchair. But he's not deterred. His faith renewed his strength.
He say thugs on horses?
And with faith, he didn't grow weary and didn't let us grow weary. No, he really didn't. I know it sounds strange, but he didn't. I reflected on Jesse's strength and his spirit. Let me close with sharing a hymn that means a lot to the Biden family. Particularly meant a lot to my son, Bo. Bo's a wonderful guy. He should be standing here, not me. Bo was the Attorney General of the state of Delaware, a really
crazy,
decent
man.
guy. Loved by everyone in the community. Volunteered to go to Iraq. I was going to go to Iraq when it was all National Guard. And he died there because he was exposed to those burn pits. Well, you know, this quote meant a lot.
No, get to the quote, bro.
And he will raise you up on eagle's wings and bear you on the breath of dawn. And let this light shine upon you like the sun until next time he sees you, he'll be holding in the palm of his hand. My prayer for everyone here, and I'm cutting my speech very short because I'm afraid I'm being attacked. So, folks,
I don't know what the fuck that shit
I
means.
guess I can say it all in one,
I've been
one
lost.
paragraph. Don't give up. I started off every morning as a young man when I got back to Delaware. Every morning, because I got involved in my community, I quit my job with one of the biggest law firms in Delaware, became a public defender. And I spent a lot of time with the community. I was the only white guy who worked on the east side of Wilmington, Delaware. Matter of fact, they named the biggest swimming pool after me, the Biden swimming pool, man. All kidding aside,
That's
I
the
was
same
one
thing
of the only-
Obama did. They all did it so far. Their whole speech is about them and their life, and they just mentioned, they throw Jesse Jackson a bone in the process.
13 lifeguards, and I was the only white guy. Because I wanted to understand. I thought I knew the issues, but didn't understand the individuals, persons. I remember I had a little Chevette. I remember an all-state halfback I played with. And he said, "Joe, you have a jerry can? A big 5-gallon. He said, "Can I borrow your car?" I said, "You got a car? Sure, you borrow. What do you need a jerry can for?" He said, "You dumb SOB. I'm going down to see my mother in North Carolina. I can't stop at a gas station. I can't stop at a gas station." The point I'm making is, the more we know one another, the more we understand what we're going through. There's enough decency and human nature in this country to reach out to help. You know, Jesse kept hope alive for us in his lifetime. And we've got to continue to do it in our lifetime for our children. Because there's nothing beyond our capacity when we work together. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So stand up and finish this job.
Yo, we shouldn't even still be fighting that same job, Joe. God damn. These guys crazy. Al Sharpton spoke. We ain't gonna listen to him. Oh my gosh, what is he doing there? What the fuck? They got all these motherfuckers here.
He was faithful to the scripture which said, we have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. But unlike a lot of people in politics, he didn't go around looking down his nose at other people. He hated the sin and not the sinner. He was always trying to lift people up.
Yeah, this is crazy. Why are they there? Who put this together, man? This was horribly put together. I'm sorry. I ain't got time to even listen to him. I want to hear what Kamala had to say. I know we're going to get some good laughs out of her. We'll get some good laughs out of Kamala. They better not close this out with Kamala. Oh, we missed her. Hold up. Here we go.
So let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now.
Damn, she came in hot. She came in hot. Politics off the rip. Is that the first thing she said? She came in off the rip talking politics.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mrs. Jackie, and to the entire Jackson family. On behalf of Doug and my family, we pray with you as we did a couple weeks ago in your home, and we thank you. I thank you. You know, so let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now. I'm not into saying I told you so, but we did see it coming. But what I did not predict is that we would not have Jesse Jackson with us right now to help us get through this.
Oh, you know the man couldn't live forever.
And this afternoon has been such a beautiful remembrance of his spirit, his life, and his faith. And in a way that Reverend Al talked about it and so many others have, I do think of this afternoon as what it is doing for me to renew my faith in what is possible, fueled by the hope that Jesse Jackson so often reminded us of. I'm reminded of a passage in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. And so from a young age, we know that Reverend Jackson saw that the doors had been closed to the millions of people across our nation and throughout the world who were otherwise so deserving. And they were doors, of course, to opportunity, to equity, to justice, to freedom.
Who knows what accent she using this
time? And so he dedicated his life.
She got, she a jack of all trades. She can switch it up anytime she wants.
To breaking down those barriers. So when we are speaking of these doors, I will share with you that as a child, I was raised that when you see a closed door, you must knock and wait to be invited in. What life has taught me is that if that invitation is not offered, and if that door remains shut, even after repeated attempts to knock on said door, sometimes you have no choice but just to kick that door open.
She still up with some Tupac.
Reverend Jackson was impatient. He did not waste time waiting. Even when the doors in front of him were barred and bolted, even if those on the other side hesitated or even ignored him, he always devised a way through. Jesse Jackson was a strategist. He was one of the most effective community and political organizers of our time. And he was the founder, I think most would agree, the founder of the modern progressive coalition. Think about the work that he did. In addition to the strength of his spirit and his determination, the leadership of Jesse Jackson was defined by his vision, dare I say his ambition, to tap into what otherwise had been untapped in terms of the potential of a coalition of seemingly different people who could be brought together around shared values and ideals and experience. That's what Jesse Jackson did. He modeled that for so many of us. Over the past half century, that coalition strategy, his methodology, has been the heartbeat for so many movements about progress in our country. Those movements born out of struggle, but resulting in progress. Think about, and it was mentioned, the women leaders that he elevated, like the self-described color girls, who have been a driving force behind so many campaigns that have been about freedom and justice. Throughout his life, Reverend Jackson reminded us that the many fights for freedom are interconnected. He saw not only the interconnection, but the interdependence of the various struggles for justice and dignity on behalf of Black Americans, Native and Asian Americans, Latino, LGBTQ.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, they just can't help themselves, man. You can't help that. Like, I don't remember Jesse Jackson speaking up for all these people. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to him as closely as others. But I don't remember him doing that.
Political organizers of our time. And he was the founder, I think most would agree, the founder of the modern progressive coalition. Think about the work that he did. In addition to the strength of his spirit and his determination, the leadership of Jesse Jackson was defined by his vision, dare I say his ambition, to tap into what otherwise had been untapped in terms of the potential of a coalition of seemingly different people who could be brought together around shared values and ideals and experience. That's what Jesse Jackson did. He modeled that for so many of us. Over the past half century, that coalition strategy, his methodology, has been the heartbeat for so many movements about progress in our country. Those movements born out of struggle, but resulting in progress. Think about, and it was mentioned, the women leaders that he elevated, like the self-described color girls, who have been a driving force behind so many campaigns that have been about freedom and justice. Throughout his life, Reverend Jackson reminded us that the many fights for freedom are interconnected.
What?
He saw not only the interconnection, but the interdependence of the various struggles for justice and dignity on behalf of Black Americans, Native and Asian Americans, Latino, LGBTQ Americans, and Americans with disabilities. That was Jesse's rainbow, and he continued to grow it. He gave us the language, the rainbow, to understand, as has been said, the beauty that comes after the storm when we see what is possible and what can be unburdened by what has been. As he once said, when a barrier falls for one of the locked out, it opens the doors for all. And that is what he told me, and what he taught me, and how he inspired me. I was a student at Howard University, you know.
There you go.
When Jesse Jackson was one of the leaders of the anti-apartheid movement, and me and my classmates would go out.
At least our timeline is correct. Joe Biden told us that he was motherfucking in the 4th grade during the civil rights movement. At least she's able to, connect her age with the series of events in the adequate time frame.
On the mall every weekend and protest, looking at Jesse Jackson as a model of what that movement should and could have been. I was a law student then in 1988 when Jesse Jackson decided to run again. I was the first black woman elected district attorney of San Francisco.
Yo, that's not what she said back then. That's not what she said back then. Back then, she was the first Indian district attorney elected. Now in 2026, she was the first black district attorney elected. Show her what the fuck she was be.
The first black woman elected district attorney in the state of California in 2004. When I created
And she got a whole. Hold on, y'all. Kamala Harris, the first Indian district attorney in California. Kamala. It's a whole news thing when she talking about it. Hold on. Look at this shit, y'all. Like, oh, these people crazy. They act like. Look at that. Look at the title.
We're back in Philadelphia, and joining us now is Kamala Harris, Attorney General of the state of California, also the U.S. Senate candidate. Kamala, thanks for being with us.
It's wonderful to be with you. Thank you.
Let's talk about briefly the controversy here at the DNC involving Debbie Wasserman Schultz's resignation. Has that impacted the party platform whatsoever?
I don't think it will, and I think that what we know is that this is a party, and we are a party that's about unity, we're about inclusion, we're about free expression, and all of that is happening. I've attended the convention for the last several cycles, and there's always a lot of great passion among the members of our party, and I love that. I love to see people feeling strongly about issues, and that's what we're seeing again this time.
How does the Democratic Party assuage the fears the Bernie Sanders camp has to bring some of the Bernie supporters in the fold to back Hillary Clinton for the national?
Well, I think that Bernie Sanders has been an important voice in this election cycle, and that what we are going to do now, going forward through the convention, is bring everyone together around commonality of issues, and a lot of them were debated and discussed and then agreed upon at the platform meetings.
Your campaign going very strong here for Senate. What do you need to do to get over the hump in November?
I will say a lot of prayers, and it's about working hard and talking to Californians and reminding them that this is an important office. It's the first open Senate seat we've had in California in almost a quarter of a century, and so we want to make sure everyone gets out to vote.
Now, we were in Cleveland for the Republican National Convention. It seemed like Donald Trump and company were trying to make an overture to the South Asian community. They had a Sikh Ardas to start off day two. They had Muslims for Trump. What, if anything, is the Democratic Party trying to do to get South Asians involved in this party?
Yeah, well, the Democratic Party for a very long time, not just this election cycle, has been doing a lot of active outreach around the South Asians, around the API in general, and we'll continue to do it. I mean, what we know in particular when you're talking about the South Asian community, we're talking about the Indian community more specifically, it is a growing community in the United States in terms of its voting bloc, in terms of its participation, and I think the party knows that and knows that this is part of our collective community, and there needs to be outreach and inclusion.
And certainly you could become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Knock wood.
Did y'all heard it? The first Indian. That's what she ran on. She didn't run on being black back then. Look, it's in every title. First Indian American U.S. Senator. Everything was Indian 9 years ago.
California's Kamala Harris is the first Indian American U.S. Senator. The state attorney general took on another Democrat, Loretta Sanchez, for the seat. It was the first time a Republican wasn't on California's general election ballot in more than a century.
This is disrespectful, man. It's disrespectful. Now you fast forward when it's beneficial. When it's beneficial, she black. This lady is crazy. That's why I couldn't vote for her, man. Hey, Lachelle, she not our
The
people.
first in the nation
Lachelle,
initiatives as a
she is not our
prosecutor
people.
that was about getting jobs and counseling to those who had been in the criminal justice system. And at the time, the powers that be
Yeah, she not
told
our
me
people,
I was
Lachelle.
not supposed to be
Don't
doing
fall
that.
for
They
that.
said, "Why are you letting people out of jail when you're supposed to put them back in?" Jesse Jackson spent a lot of time in the Bay Area. Many of you may know. I saw Butch Wing here. And Butch, together with Jesse Jackson, would visit with me during those earliest days of my elected career to give me the support and the confidence and the initiative to think about how, in a position such as being DA, I could continue the idea about what it means to build coalition around a group of people whose dignity must be seen and the resources that must be put into them. Jesse Jackson, from my first elected position to when I ran with Joe Biden for Vice President of the United States, and when I became the Democratic nominee for President of the United States, always.
Man, she got her. She came up off of locking black men up for weed in California, man.
Told me and convinced me that everything that we were doing is possible. And so I just want to share what I brought today. I brought with me two momentums from Jesse Jackson's campaign that I have saved since I was a student. So one is this button that reads Jesse Jackson 88. The other, some of you who were around at the time may remember, is this button. I will read it to you, and pastors, please forgive me. It reads as follows, all caps. Damn straight, exclamation point. It's time for a black presidential candidate. That was a Jesse Jackson pin from those days. And just a beautiful example of his determination, his sense of humor.
Lachelle, what are you talking about? Lachelle, are you a descendant of slaves?
Unburdened by what has
Where
been.
your family from, Lachelle?
And I thank you, Jesse Jackson, for your service to our nation and the world. Well done, good and faithful servant. Well done. Thank you.
Are your parents from America? Michelle? Because Kamala Harris' parents isn't. So the family was upset about this, as they should have been. Because he turned the whole thing political.
Yesterday, I listened for several hours of three
Well, none of her parents
United States
American.
presidents.
None of her parents is American, Lachelle. None of them.
Who do not know Jesse Jackson. He maintained a tense relationship with the political order.
What the hell? I fucked it up.
Not because the presidents were white or black, but the demands of our message, the demands of speaking for the least of these, those who were disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected, demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent. Yesterday,
No, man. Kamala is lying.
Prophetic voice.
Look, yo, the family was upset about that. They turned his whole funeral political and talked about their self for the most part.
No point in time ever sold us out as a people.
And it speaks volumes about who the Reverend Jesse Jackson was. Our message has already been delivered today. I can see it all over my mother's face. Rise, Jesse, rise. Give Jonathan Jackson another great round of applause for delivering our family message to the world. Prophetic voice.
Yeah, man, he ain't like what they did.
I listened for several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson.
You hear that? 3 of them. Wonder what 3 he was talking about, man.
He maintained a tense relationship with the political order, not because the presidents were white or black, but the demands of our message, the demands of speaking for the least of these, those who were disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected, demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent.
Oh yeah, shit, you right though. Only 3 of them did speak. You ain't lying. Fuck it, cause Kamala wasn't never president, so he got to be talking about Bill. We ain't even listen to Bill. Fucking with Bill, and to tell her what he said. Biden, I think Biden was better served watching that shit on TV, and Obama, I don't even believe half his stories. For real, I think he made all that shit up. Y'all, but it's getting late. I appreciate y'all as always, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all share the live. And rest in peace to Jesse Jackson, y'all. Regardless if I agree with him or whatever, the man lost his life. He did, he did put work in. It is fucked up that his son asked them specifically to leave politics out of it. And every chance them people got, they kept going back into politics. Every chance they got. But it's another day. Keep it your news. And I'm out.